out these beautiful dolphin playing cards. They have a black border, and these are created by me, Donna's Dolphins. What I said here was created by Donna J. Lieber, March 2025, Temecula, California. Donna's Dolphins. Made this nice little case for them. And I'll show you what they look like. I have a note to myself. I had these printed by makeplayingcards.com, MPC. I chose their smooth finish, which was kind of a mistake. So, and I made this box just a smidgen too small. So they're hard to get out, but I will redo that. I printed it on my laser printer, on my inkjet printer, and then I covered it with clear laminating film, and then I cut it on the Cricut and scored it. So these are the cards. I love this design, of course. I'm very particular. They have a black border, as you can see, 2 prominent dolphins in the center, a dolphin in each corner, and it's hard to tell sort of here, but the dolphins are actually brighter than the background. The background has a lighter opacity. And then we have a DJL right there in sort of an orangish yellow rust colored font to kind of match some of the colors here. And of course it's on there as well. And then for this, I just chose MPC's style of cards. So the regular cards are just sort of plain, sort of normal. I think like the spades are a little bit, I don't know, shorter and fatter than a traditional deck, and the clubs maybe a little taller. Diamonds look pretty similar, and hearts look pretty similar. The aces, in most decks, the ace of spades is the only one that's unique. This one, it's more unique than the others because it does have their logo, and then it says makeplayingcards.com, but they also have a fancier ace of clubs and ace of hearts and ace of diamonds. So I chose those, and by and large, I was pretty happy with them. But then some of my magic tricks, sometimes a black border doesn't help, because if you have a card that's turned over and you don't want the spectator to know yet, from the side, I guess on the camera, it's not quite as obvious. Certainly if you spread, it's very obvious. And in some of my slides, it's very obvious, and especially if you have a block of cards in there that are turned over. It's pretty obvious, and spreading is very obvious. So that was a little frustrating. Plus, because they're smooth, they handle kind of nicely, but sometimes when I try to just slide over one, you know, like to deal or whatever, tool gets stuck. So then I decided, okay, well, I've got my basic design down. Let's see if I can add a white border instead. I typically don't think the white bordered cards are as pretty, but a lot of cards that one buys are obviously white bordered. And so these have a little pack I made too. We have the pretty much similar design. I fixed some of the edges a little, and then it's the white border. And I think I changed the DJL to be a slightly different color, or maybe larger a little bit, but it's still hard to tell. And I made the pack a little bit bigger, but it's actually a smidgen too big because they rattle. So I'm going to have to make another one if I want to be really, really crazy about it. And I made a special ace of spades for myself, so I put that on the back here too. So these, and I had these done with the MPC linen, which is more like the finish on a typical playing card you'd buy, a bicycle card, or maybe even a fancy deck. So these, I chose the regular indexes and pips, and so this ace of clubs, for example, and the other aces, except for the ace of spades. Okay, where are they? At the very end, of course. So the ace of diamonds is just typical, the ace of clubs is typical, the ace of hearts is typical, and then the ace of spades is my design, which I think is gorgeous. Of course, it goes with the deck. It's got a sort of watery, sort of subdued, although it's not as subdued as I would have liked, sort of black and blue and aqua spade with the stained glass dolphin from the front on there. And so that's the ace of spades. I really like that. And like I said, this is their typical, it's not their design, but it's what they call their regular pips. So the clubs, I think the clubs probably look about the same, and the hearts and the diamonds, but the spades, I think, look more typical. They don't look so fat and short and squat or whatever. But I was a little disappointed with these because I chose, you know, their design of these. I mean, it's their library. It's not their MPC style, but it's their quote unquote regular style of pips. And yet, for some reason, the queens, and it didn't happen with any of the other numbered cards, didn't happen with any of the other court cards. So like, see, the king is perfectly fine on both ends. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And it didn't happen with the jacks. But with the queens, on one end, you can see up at the top that the top of the Q is cut off ever so slightly. Didn't happen at this end. So that sort of irritates me. I submitted a trouble ticket and asked them about it, and they claimed it's because I chose the design that has a white border on the inside as well as the outside. But as I pointed out to them, yeah, but it didn't affect any of the rest of their own template. It's their own queen template. So I think that's a stupid response, and I'll just have to live with it. It's, you know, no big deal. So these will be nicer to do some of my magic tricks, because if you have one turned over or a couple turned over inside, it's not as readily obvious, slightly obvious maybe, and spreading them. If you spread them that wide, I guess it's obvious. Well, I guess it's obvious there too. It's not as obvious this way though. You know, I can do some of my magic tricks where it's less obvious than the black. So those are Donna's dolphins. Pretty cool. Here's a close-up of the DJL, and you can also see the sort of linen finish really close up on this card. Then I had 3 different kinds of jokers printed. I used this Fubsy for some of them. These are on the white bordered set. That I used one of their standard ones, which is sort of cute, sort of colorful, and that's what I have here. And then on the black bordered ones, I used another one of their styles of jokers. And so these are the fronts and backs of those. They're kind of so-so, but, you know, something different.